Hey you guys, welcome to a new episode of Food and the Single Guy with me, your very own AMARU. Now you guys, this video, this recipe, this dish is the #1 requested one on my channel. Let me tell you, I have received a gazillion amount of messages, comments, you name it. When are you going to make a Surinamese chicken vegetable pie? We call it pastei. Now, this is a very festive dish. We eat this at birthdays, celebrations, graduations, weddings, you name it. And basically, you serve it the next day. So you have to make it a day in advance because it has to be served cool. Not cool as in freezingly cold or whatever, but you have to let it cool down to room temperature completely, all right? Don't eat this warm. Don't put it in the microwave. It's not gonna taste good. You need to let it cool down completely, and it has to be at room temperature. Baby, like I said, the amount of people that have sent me messages, when are you going to make this dish? Well, it is your lucky day because here I am. And initially I was going to ask my mom to help me prepare the dough, but I said, you know what? My mom is getting a little older and I don't want to burden her. I know how to make this. I've never made it myself, but I know what it should look like because I've seen my mom make it a gazillion amount of times. I've seen my late grandmother make this a gazillion amount of times. So I know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, but when you've never made a recipe, when you've never done something yourself before, it is always, I'm salivating because I'm thinking about that piece of pie that's waiting for me in the kitchen. But when you've never done something yourself, it is always good to have somebody there with experience to supervise and to tell you, okay, this is what you need to do now. You know what I mean? But then I said, I'm gonna try to make the old lady proud and I'm going to do this myself. So yeah, that's what I did. So, without further ado, let us continue. Okay, you guys, so what I have here is my large bowl. I have about 500 grams of unsifted flour. We're gonna sift the flour in a minute. And also what I have here is my butter. And I'm using unsalted butter, but you can use salted butter if you so desire. This is about 150 grams, okay? Now, we're gonna bring this to room temperature before adding it to the flour. Next, what we're gonna do, we're gonna sift the flour. Just like so. I don't think I have to explain to anybody how to sift flour, right? All right, there we go. Now gently, you want to sift the flour. There we go. Doesn't that look beautiful? Oh, but it does. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to cover this and then I'm going to wait for the butter to get to room temperature before adding it to the flour to make the dough. Okay, you guys, so the butter is at room temperature. Now we're going to continue with the part that I really don't like, and that is kneading dough. I just don't like the texture, of kneaded dough. I just can't. But I want to make this dish the way it should be made. I see a lot of people here on YouTube make this dish with some phyllo dough, with some puff pastry or some pizza dough that they buy at the supermarket. That is not, and I do mean not, with an infinite amount of T's at the end of the word not. That is not the way to prepare the dough for this dish. All right? All right. So, even though I don't like to make dough, I am going to make the dough for this dish because I want to show you the authentic way of making this dish. All right? So let me go ahead and add the butter. Ooh, there we go. My grandfather used to say, waste not, want not. So we're going to get all of it out of our bowl, just like so. And now for the fun part. Yeah, some of you like this shit. I don't. Ooh, pray for me, boo-boo. Pray for me. Now, I was gonna ask my mom to help me make this dough, but I figured I'm gonna try and make this myself and hopefully make her proud, that I've made an effort on my own. Because she knows how to make this dough so well. And my late grandmother, my mom's mother, she was also a pro at making this dough, among other things, because you know, she used to cook and bake and sew for people. That was that is how she made a living, you know, among other things that she did. So yeah. Ooh, honey. So basically, you just want to make sure that the butter and the dough are well mixed, and you want to end up with a dough that is rather crummy. And we're getting there, as you can see. See? We're getting there. So next what we're going to add is about a teaspoon of salt. Let me get it. There we go. Now we're going to give that a nice mix. So next what we're going to add is about 150 milliliters of cold water. Not ice water, but cold water. Alright? And we're gradually going to add some of that water. Just like so. Now we're going to mix it. Ugh. Now it's turning into the texture of dough that I really don't like. Ugh. But anyway, it's all for a worthy cause. So now we're going to add a little bit more water. Just like so. And then you want to knead it again. And don't add the water all at once, okay? You just want to gradually add the water and continue to knead it. It takes some work, but you guys, I am telling you, this is going to make all the difference, okay? Make your own dough so you know exactly what it is that you're eating, really. Well, I can tell you that this in itself is a good workout for your hands, okay? Lord have mercy. So as you can see, we have a nice dough, and it's not sticky or anything, and that's what you want. Before we place the dough to one side to rest, we're going to add just an ever so slight amount of oil to our palms, and then roll it into the dough like this. Just like so. See? The dough has a slight sheen. That's what you want. So now I'm going to wrap this in cling film and put it in the fridge for at least an hour. Now before I continue, let me just say this. Some people add baking powder to their dough. We in our family, we don't add baking powder to the dough. But if you want to add some baking powder to your dough, feel free. Don't let me stop you. Alright? Now, in addition to that, some people also add nutmeg to the filling of this pie. I don't like the taste of nutmeg. I really don't. But if you want to add some nutmeg to the filling of this pie, feel free. Yet again, don't let me stop you. Okay. Okay guys, so what we have here is our solid piece of dough, and I just took it out of the fridge. Next, what we're going to do, we are going to cut this baby in half into 2 equal parts. Where's my knife? Here we go. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll out this dough on my green dough mat, and then one part of the dough is going to be used for the bottom crust of the pie, and then the other part is going to be used as the top, as the cover of the pie. Alright, let's get to it. Now before we start rolling out the dough, we're going to sprinkle a dusting of flour on the dough mat. Just a little bit, just like so. We're also going to add a little bit of dough on our rolling pin. And next, we are going to roll out this dough into a nice layer, which we are going to use as the crust of our pie. So you guys, I am using a rectangular oven dish. So as you're rolling out your dough, you want to keep that in mind. Because if you're using a round oven dish, of course you're going to roll the dough differently. Alright? So, this looks about done. Now let me show you how thick the dough is. Can you see this, you guys? You see, it's not very thin, it's not very thick. Alright? Okay, you guys, we are going to broil a large chicken breast. To this, we're going to add a clove of garlic, a couple of cloves, and a couple of pimento corns. Just like so. We're also going to add 2 bay leaves, and we're also going to add a crushed chicken stock cube. Now, of course, we're going to give this somewhat of a stir. Alright. And this is the way I broil my chicken, okay? Because I like my meat to have some flavor, baby. Oh yes. Now we're gently going to bring this to a boil, and then when it's all nice and tender, we're going to pull it apart to add to the vegetables. So as you can see, my chicken is broiling steadily, and it smells delicious up in here, let me tell you. Honey. Now let me turn this ever so gently because it has a tendency to make a splash, if you will. It really smells delicious in here, you guys, let me tell you. Now once you're done broiling the chicken, do not get rid of this delicious stock. It could be the base for a delicious chicken soup. Okay, you guys, so after about 15 to a maximum of 20 minutes, you will remove the chicken from the broth, and then you will set it to one side to cool. Do not overcook the chicken because it's not gonna taste good. And there we have our beautifully broiled chicken, and as you can see, it is still steaming away nicely. We're gonna allow this to cool for a bit, and then we're gonna pull it apart into nice little flakes. So it took me 1.5 years, but I'm finally done pulling apart this chicken, and this is what you want, you guys. Nice little flakes, just like so. Alright? Let's continue. And that concludes the chicken, you guys. And by the way, I have used about 1 kilogram of chicken, just so you know, but I'm gonna put all the ingredients in the information box below the video for your convenience. Now, let us continue with the rest of the ingredients, because over here I have my peas, over here I have my carrots, and as you can see, I have finely chopped them. You don't want to leave them whole. And by the way, I have to say I have rinsed all of these canned vegetables, okay, under a running tab. Over here I have some pickled gherkins, finely chopped. I have some finely chopped silver onions over here. Over here I have some capers. Now, I have to say that I'm not a big fan of capers, but the recipe calls for capers. It is the authentic, original way of making this dish, so we will be including some capers. But if you want to omit them, go right ahead. I'm not stopping you. And last but definitely not least, I have a large tomato over here, finely chopped. All right? Now let's continue. Okay, you guys, so now it is time to start the actual cooking. And you guys know that I always use olive oil in my cooking, or sometimes I use sunflower oil. For this dish, however, we will be using a nice stick of butter, just like so. And this is what the recipe calls for. And I'm showing you how to cook this the authentic, the original way. Alright? So, don't send me any messages. Oh, butter! Yes, baby, butter. Get over it. And please do not melt the butter on high heat. Alright? I'm gonna turn on the cooker hood in a minute. Bear with me. Here we go. Now first, we're gonna glaze a largely chopped onion in this butter. Okay, so next we're gonna add some bay leaves, followed by some black pepper, followed by 2 crushed chicken stock cubes. Now you want to start off with 2 chicken stock cubes, and then halfway into your cooking, you want to taste the food, and if it needs more seasoning, you can add another chicken stock cube if you so desire. So next I'm going to add the tomato and give that a bit of a stir. So next we're gonna add the chicken. And we're gonna give that a stir too. Now we're gonna add a droplet of water. Turn up the heat. Give it a good stir, like so. And next we're gonna cover the pan, turn down the heat again, and allow this to simmer for a good 10 minutes. Okay guys, now we're gonna add some finely chopped parsley. So we're now gonna turn up the heat again, just a little bit. And then we're gonna add the chopped silver onions. Next we're gonna add the pickled gherkins, just like so. So next we're gonna add the green peas. No pun intended. Next we're gonna add the carrots. Now you guys, you will notice that the chicken breast soaks up almost all of the moisture. Don't be alarmed when that happens. That is the way it's supposed to be. You really don't need a hell of a lot of sauce for this dish, alright? Now, if you do find that your chicken is a little too dry, you can add a droplet of water like I did earlier, or some of that chicken broth that you made earlier, alright? Alright. Now let's add the capers. There we go. Now let's give it a quick stir. And make sure to taste your food, you guys. Like I said earlier, if it needs a little more seasoning, add a little more seasoning. Now we're gonna turn off the heat and allow this to cool down completely. Okay guys, so now what I'm gonna do, I am going to butter my oven dish, and I melted some butter just like this. There we go. So next what we're gonna do, we are going to line this dish with the dough. Then we're gonna add the stuffing, we're gonna cover with the eggs, and then we're gonna put the lid on it, and then we're gonna shove it in the oven and bake it and eat it. Alright you guys, so now it is time to line the dish with the dough. Just like so. So next we're gonna add the filling. And you want to add a generous amount, don't be stingy. Now after you've garnished the pie with some boiled egg, you're now going to close the lid, just like this. I'm going to nicely cover this. So now what you can do, you can use a fork to press the edges together. There we go. Nice and neat, just the way I like it. Now, next what we're gonna do, we're gonna brush on some egg wash for a nice and even golden color. And we're gonna bake this in the oven for about 175 to 180 degrees C for about 25 to 30 minutes. All right? Depending on your oven, of course. There we go. So, I think this baby is about ready for the oven. Alright, beautiful people, so this is what the pie looks like when it comes out of the oven. And what about that A on top? Oh yes, I am so creative. Now, we're gonna allow this to cool down completely before cutting into it. And when I do cut into it, I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. And now for the final presentation. Doesn't that look delicious? Honey, I tasted it and I can tell you that it is delicious. Now, this is a type of dish that you would serve the next day. You need to let it cool down completely because it's not going to taste right when it's hot or warm. And there you have it. Doesn't that look delicious? baby, let me tell you, like I just said, it was delicious. And speaking of delicious, I have some right here, and I'm gonna hold it like this so you can see. I have the A that I created. Can you see the A? Let me try not to let it fall from the damn plate. But I have the A right here, and you know I don't like to eat on camera, but I'm gonna sample some of it just for you guys who like to watch people eat on camera. I hate that shit. But this is the filling, the carrots, the peas, the chicken. Let's have a little piece. Ooh, honey. Now I'm going to show you the inside of the filling. Wait, let me remove the pieces of egg. Because... hang on. So this is what the dough looks like on the inside. See? And there's my letter A. Oh yes! Anyways, you guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you now. If you decide to try this pie, let me know how it turned out, because I'm always interested in hearing from you. In the meantime, do be well, take care, happy cooking, happy eating. Don't add crazy to the craziness. Thank you so much for the love and support that you've shown me throughout the years, because we have surpassed the 5,000 subscriber count on this channel. Oh yes, I'm very happy about that, and I could not have done it without you. So thank you. I will see you on the next video. Have a good one. Bye.